Hello there everyone, and welcome back to a second video for the weekend, a double upload, double feature weekend, as it's, I believe, double XP or some special thing going on in 76, so I decided to treat you guys today and not do a gameplay of 76 at all. Probably got you guys all tricked. I'm actually going to jump right back into the old tutorial, even though it's been a while. And today, for you guys, I am going to talk about... Excuse me, I feel like I'm about to sneeze. Ugh. Okay. Today, I'm going to talk about, with you guys, legendary weapons, legendary script, and legendaries in general. So let's talk about a bit about that today. And to start off, I think the easiest way is to just explain some of the legendary weapons that I have. And then we'll break down into some script and stuff like that, and how to re-roll your legendary weapons if you get a weapon that you like but you don't like the legendaries on them, how to recycle, reuse legendaries, and how to grind out legendaries in certain events. I'll try to break all that down. Hopefully there'll be a good event to do depending on what's going on in the world environment right now. We got about 10 minutes until probably the next event triggers. So I'll try to quickly explain what is going on with, I know that aced hardcore guy. So we know what is going on with everything. I don't like hearing all this junk, so everybody's dying. Okay. back to business. Back to the agenda. So, let's get to my camp. Let's break down some things going on here. Okay. So, well, let's actually, my camp's kind of loud. My camp's kind of noisy with all the music and shit going on. But, let's, actually, I actually do need to be in my camp because I need to show you guys some weapons. I'm sorry, I'm 5 minutes in. I'm sorry, I'm taking a long time to get around to what's going on. Okay, let's see here. So that's all good. I need to go to, okay, that's my, well, I have a bunch of storage things, but that's my main storage thing that I like to go to. So let's see here. Sorry guys, sorry I'm rambling. Okay. It'll be easier if I just go straight here. Make sure I don't have any junk on me. Okay, so legendary weapons and stuff. I'm not really gonna explain them, obviously, you guys kinda understand them. Probably, hopefully. As you can see, well, originally, let me just, okay, a long time ago in the old, the land before time, and I believe in the origins of when this game first came out and stuff, there wasn't really any, legendaries, I don't think. I know for a fact, like, the legendary power armor is, like, quote-unquote newer. I think like, legendary power armor came 2 years after the game was out. and legendary weapons came out. Didn't come out immediately, but were added shortly after. I think they might have been immediately in there, but there wasn't obviously a lot to do, so it's not like legendary weapons were like a big friggin' deal, I guess. And times have changed a lot with legendaries. There used to be different legendary effects on stuff like laser weapons. You guys probably remember. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. With legendaries back then, you probably guys remember hearing the words legacy weapons. You guys probably remember, or you probably may have, if you ever heard an older player talk about the good old days, like back in the day. Some old stuff from back in the day, legacy weapons. I don't think a plasma caster could have done it. I'm not sure, but flamethrower, for example. Like, there used to be originally legendaries used to be goofy, and as you see with some weapons and like some like armors. All of this originally, this is like kind of new, the way they display the effects of like what your armor and weapons are doing. Because I've been playing for about 3 years, and even some of this, like the way this display is kind of new. There wasn't always like all this detailed information about your pieces, and a lot of the times the stars you see, how they're numbered 1, and then you see 2 stars and 3 stars, especially like on my weapons. You see damage increases up to 95%, then 50% crit is the 2-star, and then 250 damage resistance while reloading is the 3rd star for the plasma caster. That wasn't always like that. And the damage to Scorch didn't always come up. You just kind of had to assume, because you had the prime receiver, that you were doing more damage to Scorched. And the 3 stars sometimes would load incorrectly, like especially even a year or 2 ago, especially when I first started. You'd see you see where the damage, I can't really, because I don't have like a webcam, I can't really point at my screen or like highlight things for you, but just imagine I'm pointing at the damage increases up to plus 95%. That would sometimes not always be at the top. Sometimes it would locate to the bottom, sometimes it would locate to the middle, and it would really confuse a lot of newer players what star effects did. So that really has broken down and has become a lot simplified and easier for lower level and newer players to understand what your things are doing. So I guess that is a quick breakdown, I could say. So when you're looking at like legendary weapons, you always have your 1st, 2nd, and 3rd star, and I'm going to pull up a graph really quick. I can't pull it up on screen, but I'll break it down for you guys and explain it to you. So say for instance, right here, my quad enclave prime, my quad enclave prime light LMG. These are just basic LMGs. I just have a paint and a bunch of stuff on it, so it has that long prefix. But just get rid of the quad enclave prime, and it's just an LMG. That's just because of the paint, the legendary effect, and the modification that I have on it. The prime is coming from the prime automatic receiver. The enclave prefix is coming from the paint that I have on there, and the quad is coming from the 1st star legendary, which is usually what always, other than like weapons like Holy Fire, will always be your 1st prefix. So the 1st star damage increases up to plus 95% as health decreases. That's called the bloodied effect. So that will always cursor to the top of your prefix of your gun. And again, as I explained before, bloodied is the 1st star effect, industrial is the paint effect, prime is the prime capacitor modification that I actually have applied to the weapon. And now I will break down the other stars a little bit better for you guys. So like for instance, a light machine gun, like this good big boy, this good old god roll right here. So for your second star, where the first star is quad. That's where you see the quad from. That's where you see on my item stats, if you look over to the left-hand side of the screen and see item stats, and you see capacity. The capacity is how much bullets, how much ammo I have in my magazine or clip or whatever you want to call it. Obviously, this is like a magazine or it should be a belt. This should be a belt-fed gun, but it's basically a belt-fed magazine because it's an LMG. I'm not going to get into semantics and specifics. You guys don't care about the internals of guns, I'm sure, or how much I know about firearms in real life. But anyway, I don't rename my guns. You can always rename your guns. If you rename your gun, it'll totally get rid of everything here. And like I can call this like G-roll, and it'll come out when I type it in. Instead of Quad Enclave Prime Light Machine Gun, it'll totally disappear. The Atom symbol from the Atom Shop, because that is an Atom Shop paint, and the 3 stars will stay there, but it would just say G-roll, Atom symbol, 3 stars, and you would get rid of the Quad Enclave Prime Light Machine Gun. But if I took the paint off and I dropped this gun on the ground and someone picked it up, it would recursor to Quad Prime Light Machine Gun without the Enclave, because there would be no paint on it. So it would just be Quad Prime LMG. Okay, sorry, I got back to the other stars. So I explained the quad. I hope I explained the first stars enough for you. The other prefixes for the first star don't really matter. You guys will kind of see them, especially if you have a gun like this. You'll always see the different prefixes just come up if you don't have a gun like the Fixer or the Holy Fire or something. But I just for safe sake, I will read off all the other effects for the first star. There's Anti-Armor, Aristocrats, Assassins, Berserkers, Bloodied, Double, Executioners, Exterminators, Furious, Ghoul Slayers, Gourmands, Hunters, Instigating, Juggernauts, Junkies, Medics, Mutant Slayers, Mutants, Nocturnal, Quad, Stalkers, Suppressors, Troubleshooters, Two-Shot, Vampires, and Zealots. I'll tell you guys right now, Double is, actually, I should redact Double. Double is that was a very old prefix that does not exist in the game anymore, but everything else but Double exists. I'm gonna say that the most valuable for like a 50 cal or like a heavy weapon will usually be the Anti-Armor effect, the Bloodied effect, the Juggernauts effect, the Mutants effect, the Quad effect, the Two-Shot effect, or the Vampires effect. That is, and I want to let some people know, because some people might be laughing at the Juggernauts and Mutants effects. Those are kind of beginners. I'm not going to recommend Juggernauts or Mutants effects for future players, like if you're way down the road. Juggernauts and Mutants are very middle of the road. You'd rather go with even a Two-Shot or Quad, or even maybe Junkies at that point. But really, especially for like an LMG, you'd want to go for Quad, Anti-Armor. Two-Shot are really good. I have a Two-Shot as well, I believe, in my... Yes, I have a Two-Shot right here. There's a except it has +1 agility instead of 90% reduced weight, which is why I don't use it as much, because the third star is useless. I'll explain it a little more later, why that +1 agility is kind of... It makes no sense for me to consider this a guy. It's not a... The two first prefixes do a lot of damage, and it does a good job. It does deal way more damage than the quad, but the +1 agility kind of makes me not want to use it as much because I don't feel like re-rolling it, and it is already a good roll. But again, I'll explain more on that in a second, on what like still constitutes a good roll and what you might not want to re-roll it because you don't want to waste that time. But I'll explain what that means, like how you don't want to waste your time re-rolling a gun that you already think is pretty good. Okay, so back to like an LMG or like anything else, a second star. Okay, I explained what the first star prefixes were. Hope you guys got a notebook out and you're taking notes because I'm testing you on this. Okay, anyway, the second star specific prefixes, which they're not, they won't come up as names. Well, they come up as names now. Now they actually named them. The explosive second star is that prefix for, obviously bullets explode for 20% weapon damage. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Anyway, okay, back into this. So I explained. Okay, so that's new. Like the quad legendary mod, where you see in the current mods on the right-hand side, the quad legendary mod, explosive and lightweight mod, for the next to the stars. That's kind of a new display. They haven't really. I don't really remember seeing that all the time. Cause like I didn't even know that I figured kind of could have figured 90% weight in the third star would have been called a lightweight mod, but I didn't know that, like, because like again they didn't display that. They just like, you just knew what these. Oh, I have 90% reduced weight on my gun. Cool, that's a good star. But again, that 90% reduced weight would sometimes cursor to the top, so sometimes you get confused and be like, is that my main star? Is the 90% reduced weight the main star that I have? But that's been fixed. I'll stop complaining about that. I'll stop rambling about that. I'm probably losing you guys. But anyway, second star. You guys are probably like, what's the fucking all the second star effects? The second star effects are 25% aiming damage, 25% increased fire rate damage, 50% bashing damage, 50% crit shot damage, 50% VATS hit chance, 50% limb damage, explosive, last shot, and replenish 15 AP after kill. For LMGs and a lot of heavy guns, people may disagree with me. I feel like the only good thing for 90% of heavy guns is the explosive effect. Some guns benefit from the increased fire rate, but I will say that I'd rather just have an explosive weapon than an increased fire rate weapon. If I wanted a faster fire rate, 50 cal, I would have just kept my final word from the Beckett companion quest. But a gun like the bloodied plasma caster that I have, or after the legacy patch, energy weapons and such, even like your rifles, like the Tesla rifle and such, no longer can have the explosive effect in the second star anymore. That was a long time ago. They removed that. It was like 3 or 4 years ago when they removed the ability to get that, but they have completely removed legacies that had that effect from the previous patch, if you guys know what I mean. They removed those guns from the game. I used to have a legacy. I didn't play when legacies were in the game. A friend of mine gave one to me, and then after that patch happened, I'm sure you guys remembered if you had one, the explosive effect if you had in the second star category was removed, and that was when they rolled out this update where you see Bloodied Legendary mod, Lucky, Resilient, in the current mod section on the right-hand side of the screen. But, like I was going to say, sorry, the best thing you'd want for a weapon like this, or if you have a Gatling plasma or something, you probably want a faster fire rate in the second star category. For like a plasma caster or a single shot weapon like this, or it's fire, how you see fire mode and fire rate in the item stats area is single fire, and it's only 20 for fire rate. You'd want more of a VATS gun, a VATS build weapon that doesn't waste a lot of VATS when you're single shot. It's a lot of AP, not VATS. A lot of AP has a low AP cost when you're firing individual shots, and it has a high damage output compared to shooting 50, like 10, 20 bullets to kill one enemy. With this gun, you're almost guaranteeably shooting only 1 round to 2 rounds on most enemies with this gun. Sorry for the over-explanation, but that's not... But I mean, again, there are also different builds. Like, I know for miniguns, you can have the bashing damage effect in that 2nd star category, and there's a certain bashing damage effect with those guns. But I really do not recommend the aiming damage, because the aiming damage, people always think the 25% increase to damage while you're aiming is a good effect, but nobody really uses it because you'd rather be using VATS or just something else that can boost that damage passively, instead of you having to actively aim in and out of sights ADS each time. You could just passively have that boost overall across the board without having to do an action that increases that, if you guys know what I mean. And then 50% limb damage is also not a bad thing. Last shot is terrible for pretty much any weapon that has a high ammo capacity, because why the fuck would you want to increase your damage on the last shot in a gun that has 300 bullets in the magazine or 250 bullets in a belt? There's no way you're going to ever get to the bottom of your clip sometimes, because you'll maybe kill like 10 enemies, you'll be at 50 bullets left in the clip or whatever, and you'll be like, ah, screw it, I'm just gonna reload. It's a null and void star. I'm sorry, I'm over-explaining each star, but for VATS, if you're doing a VATS build, you'd really want mostly increased fire rate, crit shot damage, VATS hit chance, or replenish 15 AP. Usually it'd be crit shot or replenish 15 AP, so you can stay in VATS the whole time. But even the explosive for VATS builds are good, but you just wouldn't have that increase to any of your VATS stats. So, okay, let's move on to the 3rd star on the list. So the and I'm also this is actually turning out to be longer than I thought. I guess I'll explain. I have a gun that I'm working on, and I kind of want to explain why it's so crappy, and like I kind of want to explain how to re-roll guns and re-roll armor. Oh boy, this might be longer than I thought. Bear with me, guys. But anyway, the 3rd star. I'll just jump right into it. The 3rd star possibilities are 15% critical fill. Your crit fill meter will fill 15% faster. 15% faster reload. 25% VATS AP cost. 250 damage resistance while reloading. 50 damage resistance while aiming. 90% reduced weight. Agility +1. Brakes 50% slower. Chance for stealth field. Movement speed. Or perception +1. There's a lot going on in the 3rd star, and the 3rd star has quite a bit of different options for different viable options for different guns depending on what your build is. Like chance for stealth field can be really good for like fixers or like silence weapons. If you're trying to do that stealth, if you're trying to do stealth critical hits, you're gonna want to get that chance for stealth field in the 3rd star for a lot of your stealth weapons. But even vice versa, you can swap that out. Even if you're still doing, you can still have a pretty good stealth meter and still have pretty good stealth, even if you have a higher crit fill or faster reload in that area, or even less VATS AP cost. It's really interchangeable for stealth and AP builds, because you still want you still probably want either like VATS AP cost or faster reload, but that is more malleable for like VATS and stealth builds. You can, it's all an application and what you think you're going to use it for, and you're like, maybe I want to be more stealthy, maybe I feel like I'm getting more noticed more, add that chance for stealth field, like keep rolling for that chance for stealth field. Maybe you want to be in VATS more, or you want to have more crits, or you want to be more accurate, or whatever. Then probably the faster reload, the VATS AP cost, or the crit fill would be for you in like a VATS build. Because I use VATS builds too, so I know very well some of these prefixes, especially with some of like it's not the greatest, but like I have the 25% action point cost in the handmade, the Juggernauts and Intergalactic Prime handmade, and I also have but I also have a weapons break 50% slower on a bloodied handmade with the explosive effect. And then 1+1 perception. I will always say in some applications the +1 perception or +1 agility can be good, but you really don't want boosted special stats on guns, because you can just get boosted special stats with like if you're not using power armor, you can just use I think it's not unyielding, it's it might be unyielding. No, it's I'm trying to remember. It's in regular armor, because I don't use regular armor. Hold on a second. Let me try to remember here. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is unyielding. I was right. Wow, I'm sorry. I had to look it up on my phone really quick. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, it's unyielding. The effect that adds special points when your health is decreasing is unyielding, and that can boost all of your special stats except for, I think it was charisma or something like that. I'm not sure which special stat, or perception or something you can't boost with it. And that is why, hold on. Looking at more stuff here. So yeah, okay, sorry guys. Yeah, like you don't want, because even with power armor, like power armor, some of the pieces you can have special increases on that, like I think, yeah, like, see, I already have +1 perception on this piece. I have mismatched, they're all overeaters, but I have mismatched into 3 different stars, because I wasn't stressing too hard on like god roll power armor, because your power armor is already pretty good. And there's so many different effects, but like the best, some of them you want are definitely like +1 strength, like breaks 50% slower. You definitely want like stuff like 75% chance to reduce damage by 15% while not moving, in addition to stuff like that. That's great. Like those are great stars. 75% chance to reduce damage by 15% while sprinting, like even that's good. So while you're moving, you reduce damage. While you're standing still, you're reducing damage, in addition to the damage reduction +6% while you increase your food and thirst meters. With the overeaters for prefix in the armors, I'm sorry, I'm skipping to armor really quick, is probably the best for power armor. Unyielding is the best for regular armor. That's just my opinion. I also have a Juggernauts and bolstering set of power armor that I use frequently. This is the Juggernauts power armor. This is, oh, whoops, it's off. This is the bolstering. This is just storage power armor. This is just excavator storage power armor, bolstering, These are all bolstering pieces, some of them that have all different effects in the 3 stars, just like the, I'm not gonna, again, I don't want to make this video forever and break down every legendary piece of stuff that I have, because I still haven't gotten into re-rolling Scrip and all that stuff and how to recycle. But really quick, I will say, like, recycling. Okay, like, recycling, like, legendaries. Say you want to, like, Scrip it, you could just go to the Scrip, which I'll go to the Scrip bin, but if you really, like, are feeling kind or something like that, I could just take this Juggernaut, like, if one of these, like, if I got some low-level guys, so, like, say this level 64 dude or something like this is having a bad day, or he lost a gun or something, and he's feeling... Somebody gave me, like, if someone was like, shit, man, like, somebody screwed me over, I'd honestly give somebody this bloodied, handmade, or this Juggernaut's handmade, or this fucking Fixer. I'd give somebody this two-shot, or this anti-armor, flamer, and stuff like that. Like, that's what I meant by, like, recycling stuff. Like, if you have a good, like, a pretty good, like, old legendary that you really don't use anymore, and it's kind of just collecting dust in your storage, you could trade it, sure, you could sell stuff, but, I mean, if somebody's having a bad day or something like that, it's also nice to be a kind of guy in the community and just be like, you know what, screw it, man, here, you have this freaking gun, like, have this good gun, and... I've done that plenty of times. I've given tons of players, like, bloodied fucking 50 cals, Juggernauts 50 cals with explosive effects. Frickin', I gave some guy an anti-armor explosive 2-star. It was only a 2-star, but anti-armor explosive 50 cal when I got this Vampire's explosive 50 cal. There's some younger guy, there's some lower level player, and it was just a 2-star anti-armor explosive 50 cal, and I just gave it to him, and it was probably one of the best guns he ever had playing the game. So I mean, it's just stuff like that you can just help out the community and see some of the guns that you used for a while have a resurgence, instead of just getting rid of them and junking them or trashing them or dropping them on the ground, if you know what I mean. I just noticed this wall's messed up, sorry. Fixed. Okay, for some reason it does that. But anyway, back to legendaries, guys. We're already like half an hour into this episode, so sorry about that. And I have a viewer apparently watching my stream, so hi viewer, how's it going? We're doing a tutorial on 76 today, and I don't have my chat window or whatever I'll open, so sorry. You probably won't hear any responses from me. Okay. So we're jumping back into legendaries. Sorry, I hope you guys were listening to me and an explanation. Sorry I go on a lot of tangents. But, if you guys have any more questions, again, feel free to ask. I kind of explained how, like, Overeaters is the best for, like, power armor. I have a couple other effects. Like, this is another work-in-progress Overeater set, and that's a work-in-progress T60. I don't know when I'm actually going to make that, either mutants or aristocrats or something, just something different, just an oddball legendary power armor. It's still probably just going to be a display piece, but, sorry, I'm talking about some of all my stuff, but, back to, what should I, so, I guess, how should I define, like, why do I use the guns that I use, I guess, so I hope I described enough of the prefixes from earlier, but, so, why do I use some of the weapons that I use, or why do I keep some of them? Let's see here, so, this gun, for instance, this anti-armor Red Reaper, the 50% crit damage in the center, because napalmers suck far distance. It can't really shoot far away with these flamers. The crit damage is not so good unless you can somehow be up close and personal and be getting some VATS hits, but it's rare. The 90% reduced weight, the 50% armor penetration, those are great. That's why I kind of keep it, because it's not bad, and they buffed flamers recently, so I keep it. I like the camo on it. That's kind of a reason. But again, this is not a great weapon, not even really a trade item. I could probably get maybe a couple thousand caps out of it, maybe 1,000 caps out of it if I really wanted to sell it. This, however, although the +1 agility's there, this is a pretty good gun. This is actually a really good gun. The +1 agility makes it meh, but the 2-shot and the explosive effect, this gun, LMGs, even though it only has 75 in the magazine, these guns are beasts. They deal a lot of damage, and they have a very fast fire rate. And the 2-shot and the explosive effect makes these almost like the reincarnation of the Gatling plasma with the explosive effect, but not as much to an extent as they used to be. They were the explosive Gatling plasmas, but the scattered effect was nuts, but this kind of gives you sort of that feel. Some of these, I used to do a rifleman build, which is why I'm working on this gun, which I still have it. I need to fix the rifleman build with the commando build. The rifleman for the reason why I keep these is for the rifleman class, and this was a gun I just found in someone's inventory, in someone's vendor, and they were selling it for a couple thousand caps, so I had to take it for a steal, because even though it doesn't have any good VETS effects on it, it's still a really good weapon, even though these guns are more VATS weapons. Handmaids, fixers, rifles, and stuff like that, you want to use more AP, crit shot damage, and even though this is an automatic, you really don't aim down sights as much as you think you do in this game. You do aim down sights, but the convenience of the VATS just kind of makes you not aim down sights as much, and you hip fire a lot, because it's not like you get a damage increase from aiming down sights a lot of the time. And now the other reason, like, obviously you can probably tell why I have some of these. I used to do a full health rifleman build, which is why I hang on to this, and I still kind of like it. The 25% AP cost with the bullets exploding on this gun really did make it a beast at the time. Obviously, it could be better with the bloodied effect, because bloodied does way more damage. The prefixes that usually do the most damage are like 2-shot, bloodied, and junkies. Juggernauts is okay, but as you can see, it's 25% compared to 95%. This is my project gun. I've been re-rolling this. I got this from an event. I got a flamer, Enclave plasma rifle, and these are like meta right now. These are really, really good guns right now. Everybody, not everybody, but a lot of people with really good builds have been using these Enclave plasma rifles with the flamer attachment on them. The reason why this is junk, this is absolute garbage, is because the 25% damage while aiming, the 100% faster movement speed while aiming, if not in combat, plus 100% VATS accuracy at 50% action point cost, none of that is useful for this gun. None of that is useful for, well, flamer, for this plasma flamethrower. None of this is useful for this at all. I mean, sure, you might aim down sights, but you don't really need faster movement speed. You don't need 100% faster movement speed. You don't need the 25% damage while aiming because these specific guns shoot a long distance because they're a rifle with a flamethrower attachment on it, so it shoots. I'll show you guys an example with the Holy Fire. See how it hits, see how far that like reaches, and you see how that reaches? That's basically what the plasma flamethrowers do compared to the old flamethrowers like this. They still do a lot of damage. The old flamethrowers that just do this. You can't see, that's not even hitting that wall, and I'm standing here, but that hits the wall. It's shooting a more straighter line of fire, if you know what I mean. So that's why those are poo-poo now, and why the Holy Fire and the Enclave plasma flamers are way better, or the Gauss flamers, or anything that has a longer flame stream. And the reason why this is a junk gun is because none of these stars really benefit this at all. You can still shoot a good distance with it, but 100% VATS accuracy, 50% action point cost. Do you really need that with a gun that's doing a lot of, that you want to do high damage output with crit shot? You don't really need the accuracy when it's not a, if you know what I mean, like it's not a straight beam like this. It's coming out in a cone of damage, so you have a higher chance to hit already. The action points, you may not even use this in VATS as much because of how, if I can find an enemy that I could VATS to, I'd like to explain it. Let me find an enemy somewhere, explain it to you guys why all of this matters. I need to find why all of this like AP stuff matters. I didn't mean to screenshot something, but I just screenshot something. Why does all of this matter? Why do these VATS, why do different perks matter? So here's my plasma caster. Hopefully this doesn't kill him immediately. It killed him immediately. You see how much AP that wasted? It wasted barely even a little smidgen. So, that being said, let's see if I can find another enemy. Let's use the Holy Fire. This would be a better example with the Holy Fire. Let's find another enemy somewhere. Okay, I'm not finding another enemy close. There's another one. Rad Stag Doe. Okay. See how fast that drains? See it load a little bit. Thank God this Bethesda NPC is being nice and just standing here. Look at how fast my AP drained, and I only wasted like 10, 20, like fuel things or whatever. Compared to this, where I just shot one round and I barely wasted any AP. Look at how far away that guy was. One shot, he was gone. That's why this crit damage and the bloodied effect, all of this on this gun makes more sense than how this has faster fire rate, breaks 50% slower, and vampires. This is kind of a base Holy Fire, but it's still more. It still makes more sense to have these effects compared to like a VATS effect, like a crit damage effect or something like that on this, or say like 50% damage resistance while aiming or something, which again, I don't really like the third effect on this gun, or the third effect on this gun. I just use them because of their two main effects and how good they are, and the third effects are just kind of bonuses for me. So, I hope I am breaking down weapons and explanations of prefixes and modifications a little better. Let's see here. Okay, now, I didn't really go into armor that much, but armor is a totally different breed than, like, legendary weapons, and the prefixes are all kind of pretty self-explanatory. You can, once you start rolling them, you can kind of tell what's good. Like, this isn't the greatest, but +1 strength and breaks 50% slower is still better than fucking nothing. That's pretty, those are pretty good stars for that area. And then the 25% radiation resistance is meh. You don't really need that. But the 75% chance resistance reduced damage by 15% while not moving. That's pretty good, as well as the 15% while sprinting. That's pretty good too. I don't block, but the +1%, the +1 endurance is pretty good because it's adding to my special and it's passive. 1 endurance, again, some more endurance, that's pretty nice, but the 5% damage, 5% chance to deal 100 fire damage, you don't really need that. Those are kind of meh effects. But like anything that increases special or breaks 50% slower, reduces damage anymore, is something you probably want to go for. Okay. Now, since I'm almost an hour into this already, let's try to wrap this up and talk about re-rolling things a little bit. Re-rolling legendaries and Scrip and such like that. So you see legendary Scrip. Legendaries are also kind of a currency. You can trade them. You can put them on sale. You can sell them in your inventory and stuff like that. Like, I'm not gonna sell it for that, but like you can sell them in your inventory. You can, like, you can recycle them, give them to people, and you can also use them as your own currency, as you can see in this tab of legendary scripts here. So, let's go to my favorite, everyone's favorite place. Let's go to the Rusty Pick. Okay. So here we are at the good old Rusty Pick. And I think I have showed you guys before, or may have explained this a little bit before in the previous episode. But you see here, you see the 18, how I showed you in my collections. You see my caps, you see my caps when I'm in the item screen in the bottom middle of the screen. You go over to collections, you see you got caps, stamps, perk coins. Perk coins are in your bottom right hand screen when you go in your perk menu. Overseer tickets, I don't know what those are, honestly. I don't think I've ever used them before. Gold bullion, which is I don't think I have any treasury notes, but that is how you get end game plans. Tadpole badges, possum badges, that's for the Order of the Tadpole quest right here, which I'm too lazy to even do that because I don't care about it. And then the legendary Scrip option. And you always come here directly south of Vault 76, south of where the Wayward is, south of the forest. This is the forest area. You make your way to the Ash Heap area. It'll be at the beginning of the top of the cursor of right in the beginning when you enter the Ash Heap right here, where you start seeing the black. This is when you start entering it, once you hit into Charleston and stuff like that. But as soon as you get past the AVR Medical Center and you get here to the Rusty Pick, this will be your legendary exchange area, or your legendary trading area. And In addition, every station on the map that you see is like a choo-choo train. Will also have one of these legendary exchanges where you can earn legendary scrip. There's also workbenches here, a weapon, power armor, and I believe a armor workbench right here, so you can re-roll things with the legendary modules you can purchase from good old Purveyor Mermg. Or, alternatively, I will do it since I have 15. I have enough for one. If you want to, you see all these varying things. I never use these. I rather go for the legendary modules so I can re-roll specific weapons like this one or the weapons I already have that I like in my possession. So, and boom, you get a random piece of armor. I had no choice. The RNG gods, I had no choice or whatever. The RNG gods basically just spit whatever they wanted out for you. And this is what I got. If I had more scrip, I could get like a piece, like a melee weapon, a 3-star gun, armor, whatever, 3-star something. And then go to the legendary exchange, and I'll show you. I'm not gonna get a bunch out of this, but as you can see, if you want to get rid of this and you think it's junk, go over to your new cursor, your inventory cursor, or wherever your legendaries are. Exterminator wood, chest piece, it's junk. And boom, I have some more scrip now. And it will, if you always want to check, it's always in your collections cursor right here. And to end this video, I think I've over-explained this enough and talked about it enough, about weapons and stuff. I will show you how, that's basically how people get good weapons, is they re-roll stuff. And then I'll just go to Moonshine Jamboree, and then I want to really quick explain another thing. Armors and stuff, like power armors, you can just craft and stuff, but when you come to craft stuff like a Gauss minigun, or a Gauss pistol, or a Gauss shotgun, see how the Gauss rifle is basic, or a plasma caster, you have to have legendary modules and the required materials to build them, because every time you make one, it will pop out a random 1 to 3-star legendary. Even if you have 2 legendary modules, it could pop out a 1-star, a 2-star, or a 3-star. Even with stuff like Secret Service armor, you need a legendary module. Every time, let's see here, like I make one of these, it will pop it out as a random legendary, and it came out as a 3-star. That's actually pretty good. Weapon weights reduced, 25 cryo resistance and mutants. It's terrible. You'd rather want like unyielding, but for 1 legendary module and the correct materials to craft it, a 3-star out of 1 legendary module is pretty nice. And I'm not going to use it. I'm going to scrip it. And I got my legendary piece. I got some legendary scrip back, and now I have 30 legendary scrip. Alright, now to wrap this up, since I saw a good old event popped, we're gonna go do Moonshine Jamboree and see if we can get any legendaries out of it and see what we can scrounge. guess nobody's gonna come to this event. What the heck? Nobody wants to come and do this event. You know what? I'll just hunt some treasure hunters then. How about that, guys? Let's go to Riverside Manor, see if there's any treasure hunters there, and I'll just wrap this up quicker. And now, like, good weapons, everybody always asks me all the time, good weapons, how do you get good weapons? How do you get good weapons? Legendaries, blah, blah, blah. How does it work? It's all RNG, my friends. There's nothing I could really tell you. Most of the guns I've all gotten was all from the RNG gods or random, or I had some decent stuff that I ground for before, that I was grinding for, and there's stuff that I was grinding for, and I had rare items or rare whatever, and people would want to trade stuff in this game, and I traded up for I traded up for some guns, I traded for some items. I mean, some of the reason why I have a lot of junk and steel is because I traded certain stuff that I didn't want anymore. So there's always viable options to get more things. There's always viable options to trade up, or you just have to kind of play the field. There's so many different viable options to get new guns and good guns, or good weapons, good armor. You just have to, instead of grinding or trying one option, you have to try multiple options to see what could be best. Sometimes trading an item might be easier than grinding it out for a while. Sometimes grinding out an item might be easier than trading. Sometimes you might even get lucky and just find it in the wild. Sometimes you might even totally get lucky just by playing an event and you earn something from doing an event. It's the same as like any other online game. I mean, I remember way back in the day when I would play Destiny 1, I would like ground like the same raid or event or whatever for like this sniper rifle or whatever called the Icebreaker. I like did like the same fucking shit like 10 times just to get a good gun. So sometimes it just takes patience. Sometimes it's not always easy. Well, some people are finally doing the Moonshine Jamboree event, but I still kind of want to find... I just skipped another area. I kind of want to find a quick legendary in the wild instead of playing through a whole event. Still no treasure hunter over here. I'm also in a public lobby and people have been grinding this event probably forever. Okie dokie. Come on, give me a treasure hunter. Give me a treasure hunter. You know what? Screw this. And I just heard the prize bot in the background. I'm doing private adventure. I'm not wasting my time sifting through other people's garbage. Well, I'm gonna cut this off right at about the hour mark, seems like. And again, also some niche users. I mean, some people like assassins for PvE. Some people like different things. Like some people use hunters, exterminators, and stuff like that because they're more of PvP players and they're more focused or geared towards certain mobs of enemies. So it all depends. Some people even like the medic variant because they're big team players and they like to heal their teammates a lot of the time. So again, it all depends on what you're trying to do, what you want to do. Maybe the treasure hunter event's over. I might be stupid. Treasure hunter event might be completely over. I wasn't even paying attention to its event time. I mean, it was in the news. It was showing and displaying in the news. And not a single enemy even spawned here. Oh yeah, now they did. Okay. I'll try Graft and Steel. There's usually one that spawns here, and if the one doesn't spawn here, I think the event might be over. I'm not hearing one. Not hearing one at all. The answer is yes. I know where like all the locations of where treasure hunters spawn, and I'm thinking that the event might be over. Nope, I hear one. Yep, I hear one. Event is not over. I could always do a video on treasure hunters too, I guess. I'm not sure where he's at. I can hear him, but I don't know where he's at. Oh my god, these doors are locked. Oh, there he is. Okay, and he only had a 1-star weapon. He had a suppressors. Reduce your target's damage output by 25%. Again, these are all... You never know what you're gonna get. Sometimes you could find legendaries in the wild and they're 3 stars. Specific guaranteed 3-star legendary events are Scorched Earth, like Scorched Earth boss, Earl Williams, and the Mole Miner boss at the Mole Miner boss in Nuka World. But I think I'm gonna wrap this one up, guys. I think you guys kind of understand it. I was trying to find like a better legendary, but it was only a 1-star legendary, so unfortunately I didn't get to show a big, and I don't have like eviction notice or something popping up, but there are events that like give out legendaries like candy, so you always got to keep an eye out for some of those, because sometimes you'll do events that have so many legendaries and you'll come out with like 20, 30 legendaries and not even realize that maybe 1 or 2 of them are actually pretty good. They're diamonds in the rough, if you know what I mean. Well, now I'm over encumbered. Well, that's about it, guys. I'll see you in the next one.